Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, traders. Steve here at Logic FX Trading, and welcome to our trading room recording on Wednesday, the 21st of July, 2021. Okay, no major economic news today, guys. Certainly not on the calendar. Obviously, there'll be economic news. And tomorrow, this is probably the biggest news of the week, will be ECB interest rate decision. Obviously, they'll not increase their interest rates, guys. But during the press conference, we may pick up some information about what their view of the of inflation is, of employment or unemployment probably, and the general situation in the European or the Eurozone, as it were. And from that, the market will determine whether the euro is worth investing in or not. And of course, depending on that decision, will give us a direction on the dollar. Dollar's continuing to go up. The ending diagonal that I pointed out last week doesn't seem to be coming off, guys. I'm just going to stay in it until it hits my stop loss. The reason why I don't get out now is because you're saving a few dollars, guys. And so many times in the past where I've closed something to save the last few dollars, the next day it drops like a stone, guys. So I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen. I'm not saying get into it short. I'm just saying that that's the reason that I'm going to stay in that trade. I do believe there's going to be more downside to the dollar. Timing is the thing. And how far do you let it run before you decide that you've had enough? So I've just set my stop loss at the previous, just above the previous high, guys. And we'll look at that chart in a moment. Okay, let's just go and let me pause this. Okay, let's have a quick look at the charts. Yes, we've had a nice move up on the NASDAQ yesterday, guys. It looks like it's going to continue long today. The FTSE's up today, the CAC's up, the DAX up. Just reading this off Bloomberg, that's what they have up at the moment. So it looks like there's a bit of a rebound on at the moment. Let's see how far it goes. I certainly hope that it comes up and breaks that top. Be nice to get a week of positives to claw back some of the money that we drew down this week, folks. But we do need to keep an eye on things. We do need to still be cautious because this may well just be a pullback before you get the next drawdown, guys. So there is still potential for a drawdown here. So we need to keep an eye on that. Nice rebound on the Dow Jones yesterday, folks. You can see it in that candle there. S&P, lovely rebound on the S&P as well yesterday, guys. So it was a positive day yesterday. Little bit of a move up on the Nikkei, but it's pulled back down since. Just while we're on that, let's have a quick look at the yen. We've had this pull back in the yen. That would be equivalent of the risk on situation where some of the money that went into the yen's come back out of it again. But I don't know if this structure's about to break down or whether it's just going to claw its way up. I was looking for this to be impulsive, to be quite honest. From a Japanese yen trading point of view, I'm not wishing for it to go long, guys, because the only reason that would go long would be if there was a meltdown in the markets. So I'm hoping that it's going to go in that direction. But just structurally, it did look for a long time like it was going to spike. But I'm hoping that, see that little spike there, guys, I'm hoping that that's a similar one and it continues to drop. But I'll give it another few days. We're still a bit close. Let's see if the next, where are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then if this continued to push up, let's see how it opens on Monday, and then maybe we start to call the yen short. But let's just, bide your time, guys. It's, it takes a long time to earn money, and you can lose it very quickly. So, just have the patience to wait for things to come round. S&P, we talked about Nikkei, we talked about UK index. Lovely rebound on the UK index there, guys. The French, look at that. And the German. This is all this morning, which is lovely because I do have a few UK trades which were battering me for a little while there. So let's just see how that turns out for the rest of the day. Chinese hasn't really moved all that much. Other issues with China, obviously, with the world not being very happy with them. There's other pressures on them. Look at that on the Aussie, guys. Is it going to break out now? Well, we don't know. I don't have any Aussie trades on anyway. And remember, listen, some of you may be trading indexes. I'm not trading the index. I'm trading individual stocks, and I don't have any in the Aussie. And then the Russell, same thing. Nice rebound on the Russell. It's a nice relief to see that. But as we say, we need to be cautious because it could just be a move up within this downward structure, guys. We'll have to wait and see, is it going to push on up. Now, having said that and talked about being cautious, I have added to my open positions. I just took the gamble that, buy the dip, as they say. Now, I've still left myself with about just under 40% in cash. So if we do get a crash, I still have quite a bit there to buy up the dip. So we'll talk about that as we go along, folks. DXY, it's pushed on up. It's kind of broken out. I thought that was going to be an ending diagonal there, guys. It had all the signs of an ending diagonal. But remember, we're always dealing with probability, folks. So because something doesn't come off doesn't mean that the next time it won't come off. We had that structure. We had this structure, ending diagonal all day long, guys. I was trying to trade down here. As it is, it's pushing up. I've put my stop loss above there. Hopefully I don't get stopped out by the spread opening up, folks. If it comes up to there and gives a double top and starts to move down again, then I'll be happy enough. If it goes any further than that, then I'm not going to allow it to that particular trade to continue to go up, guys, because we could end up with a situation you could end up with some sort of channel like that on the dollar, where it comes to there before it comes off again, and then you're only getting back to zero. And I certainly wouldn't want to ride through the likes of that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying there is a possibility that something like that could happen structurally. Technically, I'm not saying fundamentally that's going to happen. But often what happens with these, and just a quick explanation, often when you get something that's moving like that, that'll be your trend lines, that's your graph. There's many times when the fundamentals that you're looking at say that, well, the chances are that's going to continue on up. But if you're not in the trade, I draw something like that and I do that. And I say, guys, I have no idea why that would drop back to there. But I'm not going to buy it at that point. If it were to drop to there, then I would look at that time and say, am I going to take that trade? But that's the trade. The arrow's always where the trade is. And the next thing you know, sure enough, a week, 2 weeks later, it's down there. Despite the fact that that point, there was no fundamental reason why that would happen, and it's happened. And then you've got to make your decision about, well, why did it get down there? Are the fundamentals still pointing long? And then decide whether you're going to take that trade or not, guys. So that's what I'm kind of saying with the dollar here as well, guys. At the moment, the fundamentals, not necessarily because the dollars, because the US, anything they're doing is particularly strong. It's just that you're comparing it with everybody else, and there's no other currency out there that people are really wanting to rush to. So that by default, almost the dollar's going up, despite the fact that it should come down. If you took the US economy in isolation, which you can't obviously, but I'm just saying on their own fundamentals, why would you buy the dollar? It's just been diluted and diluted and diluted, folks. But we have had that rush into US bonds. I don't know what the exact figure, but 10-year bond yield is at the moment, guys, but it's way down near 1%. Now, inflation's running at easy 3%. It's the figures are higher than that, but let's take out transient. It's easy running at 3%, guys. Why would you dump money in at 1% unless you were expecting, a slowdown in the economy, which means that stock markets are going to drop. So it's a kind of an indicator of that, I think. But if that finishes, that rush into bonds finishes, then you could well start to see that dropping down again, guys. Now, would I suggest that you short the dollar from there? No. The only reason I took it short from there was because of the technical structure of that, guys. And I often trade those, and they often come off. But just like we saw here, this one came off, that ending diagonal there came off. But look how long it took it before it actually went. And it chickened out twice in here, as I said, over the last few days when we've been looking at this. I was long in this twice and got my stop to zero too quick, got stopped out. And then the second time, I think I just went, you know what, I'm getting out of this. This doesn't look like a good trade. It doesn't look like that ending diagonal is going to give me a direction change. And in the end, it did. So it could turn out that the only thing I'm concerned about this one is it's broken the top. That one didn't break the bottom. There was the bottom. And at no point did any of this actually project beyond it. But that has. So that concerns me a little bit. But as I say, I'm in the trade. We'll have to see how it turns out. Guys, you're only talking about 1% or 1.5%, something like that, in any given trade, any given position. So it's not the end of the world if you get it wrong. If you're putting 5 or 10% position sizes in and you get them wrong, that's where you're going to get hammered. Okay. Euro. Obviously, this will do the exact opposite. Now, because tomorrow is ECB day, you could well see a spike down in this, guys. And if there's a spike down in this, you'll get a spike on DXY. We don't know what they're going to say. Now, it could be today. On Bloomberg, we get a hint to that. And what's the timing of it tomorrow? 12:45. We'll put, if there's any ideas about what they think these guys are going to say tomorrow, you may well see the market start to move before the press conference. And we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll get it out before 12:45 tomorrow. We'll see if we can catch something there. Pound. Am I going to be brave enough to trade it up from there? Well, yet again, a lot will depend on what happens to the ECB tomorrow, what happens with the euro, which will hit the dollar as well in one direction or the other. The UK, everyone's keeping an eye on this Delta variant. Well, there's going to be another lockdown. I don't think the government has the courage to lock things down again. They may just have to roll with the variant and use the statistics of hospitalizations to justify it. I really don't think they'll lock the UK down again, guys. So let this settle. I think they'll be upside to the pound. Now, whether you trade it against the euro or against the dollar or not is another thing. But there may be other pound long trades. Not yet. Let it hit its bottom first. I used to trade currencies a lot more than I do now, guys. But it was very hit and miss. So what I've done now with it is I'm a lot more selective, and hopefully then you get a better return on it. But if I don't see it, I don't trade it. There's lots of other things to trade, guys. Aussie US, yet again, if the dollar goes short, that will come up, but we're waiting for that to happen, folks. And there's no setup to trade it short. You can't just jump in there, guys. Look at that. And all of a sudden it turned. Look at that. And all of a sudden it turned. This could turn, and then you're sitting in a month's time and it's back up there and you're saying, why did it go short? So don't go short there, guys. We also had that, which looked like an ending diagonal, which is possibly now running flat. Although, in my defense, that indicated an ending diagonal as well. If that had been flat, there's no way I would have been calling that as a breakout, as with DXY. If we had had that and this flat over here, then I'd have said, no, this is a running flat, and I would have traded it long, guys. But because of that divergence there, that's I don't want to put an exact figure on it, but it's certainly 80% of the time when you get that structure with that divergence, you'll get a move that's at least 50% retracement of the previous move up, guys, which is a good entry point, particularly if you think that price is going to do that. That's a great entry point, guys. I'm not saying that we think it's going to do that. I'm just saying in those situations where you see that, where you're looking to go, in that case short, or in this case long, it's a great entry point. Great setup. That's what I'm looking for. So where were we? Aussie, yep. New Zealand looking similar. CAD. We'll have a look at the oil price, guys. If the oil price sharpens up, then we'll get that. The thing is, I think the oil price is under pressure at the moment. This is often our little, we're on 4 hours here, by the way, so there's not as much detail. Swedish krona is often an indicator of where the dollar's going, folks, because it seems to move first and a little bit more sharply than the others. And when we see it happening, I'll point it out to you. Might become into a little double top situation here. Remember, we've called the dollar flat from a way back here, guys. Can it break out long? Well, it certainly can. But I would suggest that it's going to run flat. Yen, little spike up there against the yen. Now we saw that move down on the yen earlier. So that's maybe that. I don't particularly want to trade that. Guys, remember, this isn't just all about me pointing out trades every day, because that's not how you trade. You do the work day in and day out until you see the good setup, and then that's the day that you take the trade. And sometimes you'll get 5, 6, 7, 10 setups in a week, and other times you'll go a few weeks where there's nothing you particularly want to trade. Remember, your money's hard earned. So if you're learning, put the work in, folks. And when I see trades down the line, we will put them out on little summaries, so you can just look at that. If you're not here to learn and to suss out my trading strategy, if you just want the hit or my opinion, as it were, hey, I'm taking this trade, well, we'll put them out little 10-minute videos, 5-minute videos, guys. US Swiss, still looking for this to drop. Gold price is coming up, so that's a positive for that. The gold price is coming up despite the fact the dollar's continuing to go up, so that's good, because if the dollar then drops, then we'll get an acceleration of that. China, still running flat, guys. Don't know where it's going to go. Gold, I just said gold price is coming up. There's no sign of it there. What's going on? Is this open at the moment? Is this live? It is. It's live. It's moving. What made me think the gold price was coming up? Do you know what it might have been? I think that was yesterday. 20th, yeah. It closed up yesterday. No, it didn't. Okay, let's forget about that. For some reason, I thought the gold price had moved long. Maybe I'm getting mixed up with silver, because you can see a move up there in silver. Remember, on 4 hours, so it's quite a nice move. Is that the start of the climb up? Well, obviously we don't know. We did talk about this at length yesterday, where I more or less said, well, I'd be more assured at buying into silver if it were to drop down to a previous low, or one of the two previous lows, either there or down into here, which is also, well, I'm not sure what that is there, guys. Oh, 60. 61. I saw 80 and I was wondering what it was. 61.8. Retracement of the previous move up, but it's been down there before, guys, so I'm not sure that it's going to get there again. Is this just a little zigzag of that move up? Possibly. And therefore we're going to get our next move, maybe up into there. We just have to see. I'm long in it already, guys. Am I going to add into it? No, I'll wait and see how this develops, because that little thing could turn. If it gets down to there, I'll buy in again. And if it drops down to there, I'll buy in again, guys, because I do think eventually the silver price will get to there and possibly beyond. So it's a bit of a long-term situation with this, and we're just dollaring our average down, or averaging our dollar price down when it drops. But at the moment, it's on the way up, which is okay because we're already in it. And it's the same with gold. The only thing I did talk about yesterday was physical gold and physical silver. I didn't buy any yesterday of either. Reason being that I'm quite heavily invested in ETFs and individual mining stocks, guys, and I don't really want to put much more into silver or gold. But anyway, anyone that does want to do it, it's PSLV. PSLV is the physical gold. Rather than actually ban silver or gold itself, because it's quite expensive to trade, guys, you trade these. And the other one's PHSY, isn't it? PHYS or SY. Let's go look it up. Just while we're here, we're back to 2.68% down, which I would have been horrified about a week ago, but because we're 375 yesterday, I'm quite relieved. Hopefully today we can, take another lump off that and maybe come out with a break even by the end of the month, which would be nice because it would get us back up to 11% or so, guys. Which then gives us another 5 months to get the other 9%. Remember, we have a target of 20% for the year. But if the market crashes, then obviously that will be wiped out. Okay. What we're talking about? Oh, yeah. PHIS. There you go. PHYS, guys. Physical Gold Trust. So because of that little structure there, I'm not going to buy at the moment because, you certainly could see another leg down there, couldn't you? So if we get another leg down, it comes down into this sort of level here. Ooh, would it come down to 13? Oh, that's not the gold price. That's... What's the price? 14.13. What's gold? 18, right? So it's not the physical price of gold. But just looking at this chart, it certainly looks like it could have another leg down there, guys. If it came down to 13.5 or something like that, it probably looked to buy a little bit of it. Okay. And as with there, it also looks like it wants to drop. Does that mean that Doesn't mean you trade it short. No, let it drop and then trade it up. Bitcoin, little bit of a recovery in Bitcoin this morning, folks. It's got a long way to go, but we could be in for one of these situations with Bitcoin, guys, where it just runs flat for a long time. But I'm just going to accumulate a position on it. Each time it drops, I'll put another few hundred into it, and we'll try and build up a position on it. And then next time it goes long, we'll reap the benefits of it. Oil, it's quite a move down now. A little bit of a hook this morning, guys. I would say that it's probably just going to stay in a range here now. I can't see it dropping away down here unless the world economy starts to get hit by this Delta variant, which means that there's a slowdown. Then oil will come off, guys. But everything will come off if that happens. So all eyes are on Delta. EuroCAD. Let's take her down to 1 hour time scale. We were looking for a little bit of a correction here. Possibly a little 5 there. Let's see if it breaks a little bit. If it's a 5, it could extend down for another 5. So from that area there, if it comes in, then maybe we'll look to trade it. I don't know if it's going to get there, guys, because with the ECB coming out tomorrow, if people like what they have to say, this could take off tomorrow. Euro-Oz, same with that, guys. All depends on what they're going to say. Personally, I would have to see it correcting like that before looking to maybe trade it up. But then the dollar would have to drop. Euro New Zealand, same thing. Have to see it come off before thinking about trading it long. I don't trade the euro very often, guys. I prefer to trade the dollar. But if you see a setup on it and you know what the fundamentals are, then obviously, you could have a go at it. I just don't really believe in the euro. Euro against the yen, possibly. Euro Swiss, well, that's going to depend on what happens to the gold price. It looks like it wants to go long. But if the gold price drops, then it will. If the dollar drops, it will. But if they do the opposite, then it will go short. But there's no setup there for me to go short either. Pound CAD coming down yet again. You can see that. And the funny thing about this move is that this is happening despite the fact that oil's dropped. Because ordinarily, if you get that, then you expect the CAD to weaken. But in that situation, the CAD's actually strengthened, or the pound's gone short. But what's interesting for me is that structure is the same as the EuroCAD. So the chances are that move has happened because of the CAD rather than either the pound or the euro. Pound Oz, still looking for it to drop. I'm not, by the way, I've got that arrow in there. I'm not sure whether that's a trade down. I think I'd probably prefer for it to drop and then trade it back up. Pound New Zealand. It's slowly but surely coming down, guys. It looks like it wants to go long. Pound Swiss. I'm concerned that it's broke through the bottom, because when it was at the top, I said, well, if it drops to the bottom, we'll trade it back up, because it's been running flat for months. But the fact that it's broken that bottom concerns me, so I'm not going to be trying to trade that long anytime soon. Should I be thinking about trading it short? I don't think so, guys. Look at how that's coming back up again. Pound Euro, same thing. I think if it dropped a little bit more because of that structure over there, then from there I would look to trade it up. And it'll probably be the same for the Swiss because of that structure there. If it dropped a little bit more, I'd look to trade it up. Pound Yen, same structure again, folks. Drop and it's hanging around there. Let's keep an eye on that delta in the UK. If the numbers are starting to look good, if the government's positive, then we could well see the market starting to move along. Aussie yen. I wouldn't trade it yet, but if it starts to come up, then we'll look for a setup to take it up. Aussie New Zealand. Let's look at this in the higher time scale, guys. It's been running flat for a long time. If we hadn't had that dip, then I would have been a lot more confident about saying, well, if it comes down to there, we'll trade it up. I was nearly going to say I'd be a lot more confident about trading it long here, but that's too far. We're on a 4 hour there. You wouldn't want to be caught out the wrong side of that. So just leave it. And if it comes down into there, maybe we'll look to trade it up. But we've got that over there, which worries me as well. If you go back to last year, my favourite trade was Aussie New Zealand, guys. This year it's been CAD Swiss. But at the moment, there's nothing much that I'm keen on. Aussie CAD, a little bit of a move down there. Oh, isn't that interesting? Because yesterday we were here. We're looking to see if we would consider trading that up. Now, what's happened to the CAD? Because that's quite a few where we've had this move, despite the fact that the oil price has dropped. Swiss yen, looking for that downside there, guys. There's that same sort of little structure that we noticed on the pound Swiss, was it? Yeah. And what was the other one? Euro Swiss. Obviously, that's a bit more zoomed in. So it's setting up to do something. Let's have a look at CAD Swiss. Well, there's that little recovery in the CAD there, guys. Is the Swiss setting up to go long? CAD yen. Now, the one thing I will say, guys, you know, it's a lot harder work trading currencies than it is trading stocks, which is one of the reasons that I don't pay as much attention to these as I used to. CAD yen, possibly long. New Zealand yen, they're also not as predictable at the moment as they have been in previous years. New Zealand yen, New Zealand CAD, New Zealand Swiss. There's nothing there I want to trade, guys, unfortunately. I'll have a think about it, and maybe in these sessions during the day, we just look at the things that are going to move the markets in general, in other words, the dollar and the indexes. And if there's anything, and then obviously gold, silver, etc. And if there's anything else that stands out for me, we'll talk about it. In other words, if I see a trade on one of the other ones. And then other than that, we'll go and we'll look at any of the stocks that I'm interested in, folks. Because these currency markets at the moment aren't that interesting. Okay. I'll do for the day, guys. I'll speak to you all again tomorrow. Bye for now.